Two schools, two programs, two teams, two traditions, virtually unmatched in the history of college football. Alabama, Michigan. Welcome to the Voice of College Football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Check out our previous video. We will leave it down in the comment section. Looking at the series history between the two Titans, with Alabama leading that 5-game series at 3-2. Also coming up, we will look at these two particular teams in 2023 and the matchup between Bama and Michigan statistically. Now let's look at the history of these two giants, storied programs from an all-time perspective, and then we will look a little bit closer to the year 2023. Michigan leads in all-time wins, of course, passing the 1,000 win mark this season. 1,002 wins for the Wolverines at 733. That's a winning percentage. That's number 3 in the history of college football. Alabama stands one rung higher than Michigan at 734. So these two programs are two of the top 3 winners in all of college football history. Bama's got the 18 national championships. That's number 1 all time. And Michigan's at number 2 with 11 national championships. We've got conference championships where Bama's got 34 SEC championships. Michigan at 45 in the Big Ten. Bowl games, Alabama's played in more than any school in the nation with 76. Michigan's played 50. Let's also consider that in the Big Ten before 1975, there was only one team allowed to go to bowl competitions. So even the second-place team could not go play in a bowl game. So Big Ten teams have lower bowl totals all time. There we see the bowl record. Alabama's played well in the postseason throughout history at 45-27, 3 ties. Michigan at 21-29, and of course a rough go recently under Jim Harbaugh, losing all of its bowl games since 2016. 84 consensus All-Americans for Bama. Michigan with 87 consensus All-Americans. Those are two of the top 4 figures in all of college football. Heisman winners, Michigan with 3. The last one was Charles Woodson in 1997. Bama with 4. And then we've got the NFL draft selections. Look at that. They are currently tied, even though we will run through more recent data where Alabama's been dominant. But all time, the numbers stack up at 401 and 401. So that's a top 5 finish for both of those schools. We've got 79 first-round picks for Bama. That's number 3 all-time. Michigan's at number 7 with 51. And then weeks in the AP poll. Michigan is number 2 all-time with 918. Bama's in the top 4. But look at the number 1 rankings for Alabama all-time. They are in first place with number 1 AP rankings, 140 weeks. Michigan down at number 13 with 35 weeks at number 1 all-time. So that's a look at the history of college football, back when they wore leather helmets and black and white pictures and the whole deal. We could have used any parameters, but of course we wanted to look at the all-time rankings. Every game counts, every championship, everything. Also keep in mind here at the Voice of College Football during the off-season, we go through our all-time program rankings each and every off-season. We will do that again this year. Now we can take a second measurement. We could take all sorts of measurements, and we will look at, of course, the 2023 editions of Alabama and Michigan. We could go through, let's say, the college football playoff era of the last 10 years. We could do 20 years, 50 years, 75 years, any measurement that you would like, and you are certainly welcome to do that. But with limited resources and time, we will take one other look at these two programs more recently in modern history. Let's take the 21st century, and let's look at Alabama versus Michigan since the year 2000. The Alabama head coaches during this time started off with Mike Dubose, who had a 4-year stay with the Crimson Tide, the final year in the year of 2000. Dennis Franchione, 2 seasons there in 2001 and 2002. Mike Price was supposed to be the head coach, and technically was, but coached no games. Mike Shula, and then on to Nick Saban, of course, who has been there in Tuscaloosa since the year of 2007, coming in from LSU, then the Miami Dolphins. So since the year 2000, Alabama has won 78.8% of its games. That's 252 wins, 68 losses. Those coaches that I mentioned prior to Nick Saban, 46 wins, 40 losses. Nick Saban is 206-28. That is an 88% winning percentage. Wow. On the Michigan side, you have Lloyd Carr, who won a national championship in 1997, guiding the Michigan Wolverines through the 2007 season. Then you had the hiring of Rich Rodriguez, followed by Brady Hoke, and then Jim Harbaugh in 2015. Harbaugh has won 87 ball games at Michigan, 25 losses. That's a winning percentage of .777 that has been boosted, obviously, by these last three seasons in going 12-2, 13-1, and the current standing at 13-0. Other Michigan coaches, 119 wins, 70 losses. That brings the Michigan total to 206 wins and 95 losses during this century. That's a .684 winning percentage, about 10 percentage points behind Alabama. Conference championships since the year 2000. Bama's got 9, Michigan 6, 4 of those outright. Bama, all 9 conference championships have been outright in the SEC since the year 2000 because the SEC has played a conference championship game, and the Big Ten started its conference championship game in the year 2011. Look at top 25 finishes in the AP. Bama's got 17 this century, Michigan 15. Now the tide starts to differentiate the level of play past that. Go to top 10 finishes. Bama 16, Michigan 5 since 2000. Top 5 finishes, that's Bama 10 and Michigan 2. And you guessed it, those two coming in the last 2 seasons. And they will have another top 5 finish, of course, coming up here in 2023, regardless of what happens in the playoffs. National championships, Bama and Nick Saban with 6. Michigan with none. Their last under Lloyd Carr in 97. In the college football playoff, Michigan enters for a third straight year. They're 0-2 in the playoffs, losing to Georgia and TCU the last 2 years. Bama with those national championships. And during the college football playoff era, they've won the title in 2015, 17, and 20. They are 9-4 in the college football playoff. Let's go to bowl games. Since the year 2000, Bama's 18-8. And Michigan's 5-14 in the postseason. Major bowl games. Bama, another strong showing at 14-6. Michigan at 1-7. That one win under Brady Hoke in the 2011 Sugar Bowl over Virginia Tech. Heisman trophies. Neither school is going to win one here in 2023. Bama leads that comparison. And in the NFL draft, Bama with 152 selections. Michigan 115 total since the year 2000. And if we look at the first round, we've got Bama 46 and Michigan 19. So we can draw all sorts of conclusions from those numbers. It's obviously been the gold standard there in Tuscaloosa since Nick Saban showed up in the year 2007. For Michigan, it's been generally a good football program with a 68% winning percentage, but upped by Jim Harbaugh's years there since 2015. And of course, this is the best Michigan football we've seen over the last 3 seasons since going back to the late 90s, 1997, or probably even before that, looking to the late 80s and the early 90s when Michigan was the top team and top program in the Big Ten. Leave your comments down below. Comparing Alabama and Michigan, fun exercise. Again, we could slice it up going back to 1970, 1990. Pick your year, but we decided to go with this century right here at the Voice of College Football.